Well, hello again. Um, Fourth week of the administration of the orange sociopathic bloat bag and his toadies that have been approved for his advisory cabinet. Um, this is the Midnight Skeptic, and this weekly rant will be coming at you on the 16th of February at the usual time, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm recording this on Thursday. It's about 2:35, and it's the no, it's the 13th of February, and I'm going to go on a bit before I get to my shout outs and my play in music, but fear not, I'll get to them. In my own small way, as I have said many times before, through this media, radio, locally and worldwide on KPCA.FM, and also YouTube, I hope to rid this country of all MAGA heads, Republicans, conservatives, in the here and now sense of the term conservative. It's changed for the worse, I might add. Christian nationalists and other fundamentalist religious people of any sort. Republicans have been, in the orange sociopathic bloat bag era, and probably beginning in the Reagan 1980 election, the party of hate, racism, cruelty, and meanness. And they also have become a cult. Followers of the orange sociopathic bloat bag. I am, personally, I hope, a kind and compassionate person, accepting of others' quirks, identities, and of how they wish to present themselves to the world. In other words, I am woke, and I don't apologize for that. It's just that the hateful, mean Republicans have seized upon that term and turned it into a pejorative. I am doing my best to turn the word Republican into a pejorative, meaning cruel and mean and inhumane and racist, because that's what they are. And it seems to me that people who have a mean streak or are bullies gravitate to the orange sociopathic bloat bag era Republican Party. And I'm saying all this as still a registered Republican. Back before the voting age was lowered to 18, I was in the Navy, and when I turned 21, I was still in the Navy. I was a meteorologist, and had an opportunity to register to vote. It was 21 at that time, so I registered as a Republican. It was just the thing to do. I was not politically aware, really, at that time. The Vietnam War was just really cranking up, And I think that I was still stationed out on Midway Island at that time, working in the weather office there. But that's how I got to be a Republican. And out of sheer laziness, I guess, I'm still a Republican. Now, I have become, over the last few decades, more and more cognizant of what's going on politically in our country, the good and the bad, and the ugly. Hello, orange sociopathic bloat bag. But the 8th anniversary of KPCA LP, that stands for low power, that was set up 8 years ago as of February 2nd. That was their 8th year anniversary. Rob Tomaszewski, who was working for Petaluma Community Access at the time and kind of marshaling their television stations that they used to broadcast planning commissions, recreation commissions, all of the commissions and municipal meetings that had to take place. And there's a law that says you have to televise them locally. Okay, so I've been doing this for 8 years. The first couple of years, I had to go down to Petaluma Community Access and use the studio down there to do my show. And by and by, they acquired some computer apps, I guess you call them now, where we can do, by we, I mean like myself and all of the other would-be DJs and talk show hosts, we can record it here at home and send it in electronically to the station, okay? And I am not with it as far as computers and electronics and all of that stuff. Fortunately, my son Dennis is, and he's helped set me up here. In fact, Petaluma Community Access had hired him. He worked there for about a year and a half, part-time. He had other jobs, and helping them set up their radio station and install this new ability to send in shows. Okay, so here I am. I'm in my room that used to be my private tutoring office, and my son helped set up this, recording session for me using my computer, desktop computer. And so doing this show, it helps me get out my stress and apprehensions about the future of our country, helps me get out my anger. And I'm not an angry person by nature, I don't think. And I'm not a Buddhist either. However, I do admire the Dalai Lama and some of his statements about the human condition, one of which is my favorite. Anger is the ultimate destroyer of your own peace of mind. I'm fully aware of that now, and I don't get angry anymore. And I think, getting older helps also. All right. Playing music. You are listening to KPCA LP, Petaluma, California, at 103.3 and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. And this is the Midnight Skeptic. The views of the Midnight Skeptic are not, repeat, not necessarily the views of KPCA or any of its affiliates. Okay, it's time for my shout-outs, and I've got a couple of new ones in the barn, so to speak. And, okay, so here are the relatively new ones. Tim Conrad, who was in my class in high school up in Sonora, he has a weekly newsletter, and it comes out on Fridays, and it's a mixture of reminiscence about life up in Sonora or the foothills and his political views. I think politics are creeping into it more and more, but go to his website and subscribe. You know, you can get it free for a while, but he always appreciates payments to his website. Sadie Birdfeather, who actually lives about 2 blocks away from me, she goes out on hikes with her partner and takes wonderful photographs, mainly of birds. And I don't know if she is an official birder or not, but check her out on Facebook, where she posts most of her pictures. Rob Tomaszewski, good man. He is still marshaling all of the efforts down at Petaluma Community Access and making sure that things run smoothly. He is the station manager down there. Rob Nasser, who is a friend of my son's and a very accomplished handyman. And Tom and Nancy Throw. Okay. And Dory O'Day. She was a member of the Petaluma radio players, of which I was a member, and that's where I met her. Petaluma radio players used to be an ongoing troupe of voice actors that recreated old-time radio shows, and we would go down to Petaluma Community Access and use one of their back rooms to record a radio show. It took about an hour or so, and then KPCA.FM would broadcast it on a regular basis. And then we even put on some live readings of radio shows at the Hotel Petaluma downtown in their ballroom. So it was fun. And the guy who was sort of the godfather of the Petaluma radio players was named Ralph Scott. Now he's an audiobook recorder, and he still has a stable of voice thespians, I guess you can call them. And he records stories and novels that authors send to him wanting to get it put out on audiobooks. Okay, so let's see, where am I? I lost my place. Oh, John Crowley at the Aquas Cafe. The cafe serves light fare, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They close, I believe, at 8, but they sponsor groups, local groups, poetry readings, novelists come there and put their work out to the people. ethnic dinners they host, and also twice a year, which I go to now and then, uh, 2 times a year, drinks with shrinks. All of the psychotherapists come out of the woodwork and schmooze, I guess is what you would say they do. Okay, and Tom Gaffey down at the Phoenix Theater, sort of the godfather of the alternative teens that hang out there. And I mentioned Ralph Scott. The name of his company is Squeaky Cheese Productions, LLC, Limited Liability Corporation. Okay. Locally, Dave and Rosita Takach up in Sacramento, Kevin and Lori, and, I lost my place, Art Kuznets, who I met through B'nai Israel here in Petaluma, through Rabbi Ted Feldman, who is retired. He was the rabbi down there. And I'm not Jewish, but my late wife was. And she and I would go down there for some classes that he held in the evening and some of their Jewish holiday dinners. And, I learned quite a bit about the Jewish religion from him and others that I met down there. And, it didn't change my feelings about religions in general. I am anti-religion. I believe that all religions are misogynistic to their core and have a lot of, I hate to be mean, but all religions have some, what are, to my mind, very stupid rituals and practices. Okay. Dave and Rosita, Kevin and Lori, Rabbi Ted, Rich and Kathy Berger over in Sebastopol, and then Tiburon, Dennis and Megan, Aunt Jackie, all the way down in L.A., in Pacifica, Stan and Kathy Gustafson. He was a retired city attorney of Daly City. And Aunt Jackie and her 2 daughters, Samantha and Melanie. And Melanie was living in Austin, Texas, and I'm not quite sure if she's still there or not. But Austin, Texas is a blue area surrounded by hateful MAGA heads. So, if I were to move to Texas, if I had to, oh gosh forbid, it would be Austin where I would move to. Okay, where am I again? Okay, Arizona. My brother Brandon and his wife Mina and their daughter, my niece Andrea, and her husband Tim, retired Marine, booyah, and their 4 little sons. They're not so little anymore. They're growing up. I think the oldest is in 8th grade now. And, up to Arkansas, Shannon Reed. And then Florida, on the West Coast in Sarasota, Nelson and Alice Lydell. And on the East Coast, Amelia Beamer, who is an editor, a mentor to budding writers, and a representative of Locus Magazine, who they review books in the 3 genres of horror, fantasy, and geez, brain freeze, brain freeze. I can't remember the third one, but okay, up to the Raleigh-Durham area, where Dr. Dave Rubin, the world's finest pulmonary physician, resides and is pursuing his artistic career now. Go to DaveRubinPaintings.com and see what his take on reality is. It's very strange. I'll give you that hint right now. And then up to Long Island, Geraldine Goldfinger, my late wife's best friend. Okay, back to the West Coast and up to Sonora. Robert Finnegan and Bob Fisher and Fisher's wife, Sandy, and their two kids, Brad and Martha. And then Darrell Larson, Judy May, and Kathy Francis, and Lynn Quayle. And then further up Highway 108 to Twain Harte, John Gleason and his two daughters, Tiffany and Jennifer. And I'm not sure where either of them are living now. But Jennifer is an officer with Wells Fargo Bank, and Tiffany is an African studies professor who speaks Yoruba. Let's see. Yourba. It looks like it should be Yoruba, but I think it's Yoruba. Okay, and she's gone to the country of Benin to study African studies, and she's spoken with government officials, museum curators, and all sorts of local officials to, work on her PhD. Okay, so, and then all the way down to Mexico City, to Rosamalia Lopez Negrete, who I should add is not a fan of Claudia Sheinbaum, the newest elected president of Mexico. And I admire her for her rather lefty political leanings, and she stands up to the orange sociopathic bloat bag, as does the Canadian Prime Minister. I'm having a brain freeze on his name. But anyway, the bloat bag, and I don't know how truly serious he is about this, but he wants to make Canada our 51st state. The man is senile dementia is setting into his brain. What's left of his brain? Anyway, okay, those are the shout outs. Okay. Let me take just a quick breathing exercise here. Okay. Bad orange sociopathic bloat bag cabinet news. RFK Wormbrain Jr. is 71 but looks 91. His brain is fried from being an intravenous heroin addict for 14 years. He's not a doctor, has zero medical background or training. He's a wacko anti-vaxxer, and real doctors think he's nuts. Any thinking person reading about this dude would think he is, in fact, nuts. Uh, he admits a worm ate part of his brain and then died inside his head. But he is loyal to the orange sociopathic bloat bag, and now he's just been approved as the head of national health. I can't remember the title that he is approved for. National Health Insurance, NHI. Anyway, another brain freeze, but he's in charge of our nation's health now, and he is responsible to some large part of the deaths of 83 people over in Samoa because of his anti-vax views that seeped into the government over there. Okay, I will go into that story on a future show. Whew. But he's loyal to the orange sociopathic bloat bag, as all of the minions who are now in his cabinet are. Horrible, hateful news from, of course, the orange sociopathic bloat bag administration. As of Saturday, February 8th, the CDC has scrubbed all mention of LGBTQ people. The State Department has removed the T and the Q from the LGB from its international travelers page for LGBTQ travelers. We still want tourists to come to this country and spend money, even if they are LGBTQ. But the State Department is only going to be referring to them as LGB. The White House removed pages on its website honoring Nex Benedict, who was a Native American girl, transgender, who was beaten to death at her high school, and removed from its website honoring Matthew Shepard, who was murdered in Wyoming by two orange sociopathic bloat bag followers, Republicans, young yahoos in their early 20s, who I imagine viewed Matthew Shepard as a queer. And so they took him out, killed him, hung him up on a fence, and there's been pages on various pro-LGBTQ pages and government pages that honor his memory. But the hateful Republicans won't have any of it. Their Nex Benedict and Matthew Shepard were two victims of horrible anti-LGBTQ violence. The CDC also directed rewrites on research papers that mention LGBTQ studies of one sort or another. This new government of ours, under the orange sociopathic bloat bag, is shutting down even studying about LGBTQ people and best ways to treat them if they need to be treated for whatever. And I imagine that most of the followers of the orange sociopathic bloat bag would rely on uh, praying to Jesus to pray away the gay or pray away the trans. There is no minority group too small that the Republicans won't hate on them. Bad historical news that can be applied today. Adolf Hitler was named Chancellor of Germany on January 30th, 1933, and enacted policies to rid Germany of Lebensumwärters. Let me spell that for you if you want to look it up. Capital Lebensunwertes. Lebensunwertes Leben, which translates to lives unworthy of living. That sounds like a plank in the Republican, desires to do that kind of business in this country. What began as a sterilization program, another thing that the Republicans would want, ultimately led to the extermination of millions of Jews, Roma, Soviets and Poles, and homosexuals and transgender people. I know that comparing the Republicans and the MAGA heads to Nazis in Germany is overkill, but the meanness and the cruelty and the hatefulness is being expressed in so many ways every day by the Republican Party and the followers of the orange sociopathic bloat bag. All right, now specifically, when Nazi stormtroopers came for the Institute for Sexual Research there in Germany, in Munich, I think it was located, and they were the first gender reassignment surgery there. They had doctors working there, and this happened in 1930, the first sexual reassignment surgery. But cut ahead to 1933, and Nazi stormtroopers, its founder, the Institute for Sexual Research, its founder, luckily, was out of the country when the stormtroopers came. The guy's name was Magnus Hirschfeld. He himself was gay and a medical researcher. I'm not sure whether he's an actual doctor or not, but the stormtroopers collected all the books and research papers and burned them. Hello, Moms for Liberty. And it's a comparison that I'm making between the Nazi stormtroopers and the orange sociopathic bloat bags, 3%ers and the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys, all of those right-wing militia turds that exist in this country that helped get this creep elected to be our president. Okay, I got bad news. The Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag Administration has ordered the CDC in all its papers submitted to journals to remove all forbidden terms such as gender, biologically male or female, pregnant persons, LGBT, transsexual or transgender, or non binary. This suppression of free speech and academic honesty is brought to us by Christianity. Religious fundamentalism, Christian fundamentalism, and Christian nationalism, they're the ones that are really behind this. If it weren't for them, I don't think the Republican Party would give a damn about those topics. Is brought to us by Christianity via the Republican MAGA heads and the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag administration. Real, actual science and research is being suppressed in the Nazi style. Bad news. When the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag took office, the National Labor Relations Board had 24 separate investigations into Musk's corporations for violating workers' rights. But the Orange Sociopathic Bloat Bag, on taking office, fired 3 officials at that agency, effectively stalling the board's ability to rule on cases. Okay, new topic. Super Bowl news. The booing of Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. Okay, she is a wonderful and generous lady who, I don't know any of Taylor Swift's songs. I'm not a fan of her music, although if I really paid attention to pop music, I probably would be a fan. But I like her, and she and Dolly Parton are 2 singers that are very, very generous and kind and compassionate ladies. Okay, but I saw part of the Super Bowl when the camera panned to her box and then booing started up. I hope she didn't take it personally. Mostly the people that were booing her were Philadelphia Eagles fans because she's a Chiefs fan and her boyfriend plays for the Chiefs. Okay, Philadelphia sports fans in general are really boo happy, and they will not hold back. They would boo Santa Claus if he, because of his red collar, is not their green color. So I hope she doesn't take it personally, really. Okay. The stupidest, almost the stupidest Republican congressman, boy, he's got a low bar to clear. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are really the stupidest, but this guy is giving them a run for their money. His name is Buddy Carter. He's a good old boy from Georgia, and he put a bill into the House of Representatives encouraging the bloat bag to acquire Greenland, and then, if and when he does, to change it to red, white, and blue land. Oh my God. And of course he's a Republican. Stupid jerks. All right. Whew. Finally, good news to end the show. The list of diseases eradicated and decimated by vaccines and science. Chicken pox, diphtheria, measles, which, by the way, are staging a comeback in Republican MAGA-head areas that are highly non-vaccinated kids areas. Oh. I don't want the government telling me what I have to do. I'm a MAGA. Okay, Jesus Christ. Well, I hate to say it's kind of good news because, no, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, measles was eradicated and decimated by the measles vaccine, MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella. All kids, when they go to school, should have this vaccine. Okay. Whew. And then going on, pertussis, polio, tetanus, typhoid fever, yellow fever, and smallpox. The Republican Party is just anti-science, anti-real medicine, anti-real doctors. Joseph Ladapo, that quack doctor, is the Surgeon General of Florida. I've called Joseph Ladapo a quack on a couple of shows now. And Joseph, if you're listening, I say that you are a quack. And your medical education should have made you a fan of vaccines, but you're not. Okay. Whew. Should I end the show now? Let me play my out music. You have been listening to The Midnight Skeptic on KPCA LP, Petaluma, California. And we're at 103.3 on the FM dial and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. Support community radio at patreon.com/Petaluma Community Access. And remember, think critically, think logically, but live joyously, and most importantly, pet your cats. Oh, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to pet your cat. And while the play out music was going on, I just remembered the third thing, that Focus, F-O-C-U-S, magazine reviews books. Okay. Horror, science fiction, and fantasy. And for a long time, Amelia Beamer was their spokesperson. She would be on YouTube telling you about what books would be reviewed for that month's issue. Focus is right across the bay in Oakland. Okay. What else? I will be doing this again next week, my weekly rant. I feel better already. Now, it's about 3:20 right now, and I will eat another snack, which will be my dinner, and I will sit down and send this show right now into Petaluma Community Access, where it will be broadcast this coming Sunday, and then I will download it to YouTube, and you guys out there can see it tonight, and until I do another one of these things. Now, Patreon. Go to Patreon and kick in a few bucks to Petaluma Community Access. I won't see any of the money. I don't really need it. I'm comfortable enough in my Social Security as long as it's here, and my small pensions from the United Food and Commercial Workers Union and the Teamsters Union. I'm getting 2 pensions, small as they are, and I am a confirmed and fan of strong unionization, and unions are growing now. So I haven't used up all of my 58 minutes that I'm allocated by Petaluma Community Access, KPCA. So, but I'm going to end it here anyway. It's going to be a short one for you guys. So, take care, everybody, and be kind, be accepting of other people, and Republicans will call you woke, but be proud of being woke. All right? All right.